Hey everybody, welcome to ECS Hangout. What do we got here? Man, this is a crazy group. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
I was gonna say, I hope my microphone's not busted again. Is it?
Hi.
Hi. What's going on? How are you guys' weekends going? Come on, what's up?
His
No?
went great.
Oh
I
my god, I
slept.
don't even want to know Joel's story. Like
I
Joel's
slept.
story is so bad.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Welcome
I
to
was an
ECS.
abused child.
Right. Welcome to ECS Hangout, guys. This is sponsored by controlfreecompany.com. This is the Hangout for Car Talk. Car shows, everything racing, drift, aftermarket. We want to talk to you. We want to have you on the show. Are you a car guy? Do you own a shop? Do you drift? Do you race? Do you do something? We want you on the show. So if you want to look at us, you can view us on IG, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all those social medias. Don't forget to hit up ECSmagazine.com, as always, our sponsor, controlfreecompany.com. Today, as usual, I am Primo. I am your moderator, and I say that in the loosest possible sense. And I have with me over to my left would be Reggie, the owner of ECS Magazine, here at present and accounted for, therefore, the boss of the company. And over to my right is our frequent flyer. You get frequent flyer miles, by the way. Joel Chappell of New England Autoshows.com. So, hey, everybody, welcome to the show. What's going on? What do we got? Is everybody excited to be here?
I am thrilled and delighted.
I'm actually amazed that you have any energy left after the beating that you took. Do you want to share any of that with anybody out there?
Oh God, does anybody really want to hear about a guy
I think they do.
Who got COVID in the middle of his vacation and had a tire blow up and got his house struck by lightning? Like, you know what?
We want to hear about the tire blowing up. But what did you say, Reggie?
Didn't you want to make an announcement first?
What was that? Ooh. Oh, no. Well, we want to do it now, or do we want to do it later?
Do it in the very beginning so everybody see it in the beginning.
I would do it. Do it now and then do it at the end as a reminder.
Hey, I am just the humble follower of all things instruction. So, guys, we're going to be moving. So you're thinking 7 p.m., right?
7 p.m. on Wednesday night.
We're going to be moving our show, this show that we usually do on every Saturday at 8 p.m. We're going to be moving it to Wednesday at 7 p.m. We've had a lot of people that have wanted to be guests on the show, some big names out there. So I did want to tell you guys, thank you for the stuff that you guys bring to us. Reggie is listening. We are listening. We want to make sure that we have the best guests on and give everybody out there the opportunity to see it. A lot of you guys right now are at car shows and are missing our show. So we want you to be able to see it. So we've heard you. So Wednesday at 7 p.m. will be our new times. It's not every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Now it's going to be every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll try
that channel, the
new and improved, which we will be starting immediately. I'm working with Reggie. We're going to get some links out, get some stuff pre-planned, so you guys can click on some follow buttons for our YouTube videos, and you will not be lost, as I oftentimes am.
And we also want to hear your feedback and your comments under the YouTube channel and what your opinion is about the Wednesday night change. Do you think it's a good thing that we do that? Would it bring more of you in? That's what I like to know.
Yeah, and I'm going to be keeping. I got to share this link out too on my little social media thing so that I can get the word out. But while I'm doing that, back to poor Mr. Chappell. So what do you got for me, Joel? Is there any tell me the woes that you went through?
Well, first the house had a close strike of lightning, and I think the tally right now is at about $2,000 worth of electronic equipment.
No.
Oh yeah, I had a brand new 4K television dead, brand new HDMI switching hooked up to said television dead. So my home theater right now is toasted. All but one Alexa device fried.
Well, that's probably good because then they're not spying on you anymore.
Yeah. All my landline wireless phones dead. I just got new ones. Those came in via Amazon today, so my mom can officially call me. Yay! And and then after that, we had the funness of having the right rear.
You were on vacation, right?
Yeah, we went. So we hitched up the trailer. And it was funny too because we cursed ourselves, I think, because my wife and I kind of did I said this is definitely the last year for these tires. We definitely need to do tires next year. And I was doing the math based on when I bought the trailer and the year of the trailer, which is a 2019 trailer. So I was like, these are 3 years on the tires. Fourth year is usually when I replace. What I did not know until it was too late is that apparently the date codes on the trailer tires were 2 years before. And and they were also made in China. And as anybody who is in the RV world probably has heard horror stories of the Chinese tires that they just explode. They do not
really.
They don't go they don't go gracefully. They literally blow up and just become tatters. And it took out all the wiring for the brake system and then started eating away at the subfloor.
Right. But you were able to get some replacements on the same day.
I got some replacements from this, and I wish I could remember the name of the place to give them a shout out. They were super awesome people
Nice.
in Smithfield, Rhode Island. It was a trailer place over there. So
and they weren't even doing trailer stuff, right?
Well, they do. They do utility trailers, and they said they do, and they kind of, based on looking around, it seems as if they specialize in horse trailers.
Oh, okay.
But they also do like plows, and they had like a whole shipment of brand new truck backs, flatbed trucks, pull the box off your old truck and put these gorgeous black flatbed, with full on lights and full on everything on them, kind of thing. They're gorgeous. And like I said, super people. They ordered me a set of they got me 5 tires, so I had a spare, and they ended up giving me they got another wheel for me because the main wheel ended up just completely getting obliterated as the tire just like went away, kind of thing. And then by Tuesday after that, I was still on. We were down for vacation, and I started feeling the throat tickle, and then my lymph nodes started to get a little tender, and I just said, I kind of went, son of a bitch, I have COVID. I know I do. There's just no way that this week could not cap off with me getting sick. And sure enough,
you're over COVID now, though, right?
I am now testing negative. I still have some lingering, like my nose, and you might be able to tell that my voice is a little bit lower than it normally is, but
I could tell the hoarseness of it.
Yeah, but other than that, it's my biggest symptom was how tired I was.
That's what I've been hearing from everybody. Yeah.
So I'm that guy that if I take a nap anytime in the middle of the day, I will not sleep that night at all. Mm-hmm. And in the middle of, with COVID, I slept all day and all night without any issues. And then by Wednesday of this week, I had actually fallen asleep in the middle of the day. And then that night, my wife and I go up to bed, and all of a sudden I'm looking at the ceiling going, that's a new shadow. I don't remember that shadow. Why is that shadow there? Oh, what's that reflection over there? Wow, that's a reflection. Huh. I'll have to look at that later, kind of thing. And suddenly I'm like, oh, I guess I'm back to normal because I can't sleep in the middle of the day because now I am wide awake.
Right. And then you're like all rested up, and it's like, oh, God, yeah. So, that's, is at the end of it, you're never going on vacation again, right?
We're going again. We're going to try to hit a place. I'm going to see if I can get fix my brakes on the trailer myself, just by rewiring them. Oh, and one of the other things that I noticed while I was underneath there, I suddenly discovered that my propane line is being chewed on by the local rodentry. Okay. So I have to replace that too. But I actually found a place.
So you're saying for your next show, you're going to be exploding.
We're gonna try and prevent the explosion by getting that fixed before
the brakes go bad. They heat up a lot, and then all of a sudden it's like poof, and that's it.
Right.
No,
right.
Joel's like comes back and he's like, hair completely burnt off.
Do you remember that? No, it's gonna be like Henry Blake on MASH when somebody was trying to kill him and they blew up the
yes.
toilet, right?
The little pieces.
He was just like, yeah. He was just like, boom.
Oh man, you know what? As a gaff, we might actually just do a little bit of it. Do like the little stuff, and you come on and be like, "Did you go on vacation again?" And be like, "Yeah, I did." How could you tell?
And I'm an idiot. And
all right, so
that was my excitement. I did go to a car show in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Unfortunately, it kind of shuts down a little early. So you folks at the A&W at Smithfield, you need to party a little bit longer.
We need to keep Smithfield open at least an hour. I think.
Right.
Right?
Because like it was like 7:00 and everybody was gone. Like and I'm thinking to myself, like most car shows go to at least 8. You know, I mean, come on. It's
kind of. Is it a hot rod thing? That's what it is. Like we get older, so it's kind of like we need to get in bed. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
And I was like a little pissy about it too, because like I literally got out of the truck and I was setting up my camera, and then all of a sudden I'm having issues with the camera, right? I'm trying to, like fix on the fly kind of thing. And I'm watching cars like leaving the parking lot, and I'm like, and it's like a mass exodus. It's like, I'm like, where are you going?
Well, they're all friends with each other. It's like the whole, like that group down there. And I know it's weird because it's kind of like, they're not all tight knit, but the idea is if 50% of them leave, the other 25% feels, at least honor bound to drive off with them.
The music was still going, and and all that kind of stuff. It's usually like the Target one that I usually hit like every Friday night. As long as the music is playing, everybody's parked. It's like kind of thing. And he'll shut down the music usually like 8:30, and people still be like around, kind of thing. And
that's the kind of show I've always loved, and I hated the idea that that's kind of died off. I mean, we did kind of age, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when did
someday, I got to get you to come up to the Target show.
Yes, you do.
I think it'll be. It's one of my favorite ones, and for the weeklies anyway. And
the old Plymouth show that we used to do when we were in Plymouth. We used to do those. They would close probably 7 or 8 p.m. at the latest because they kind of had to. They were kind of forced to. But then after that, we'd migrate. And then that thing went till I'd left there at like 3 a.m. And I mean, it was like Fridays and Saturdays kind of thing. So if you were like, hey, we left at 2, nobody cared. You know what I mean? And now I don't know if we could do that today. I think somebody would get involved if we were out there that long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. I think it depends on the showrunner, and I think it depends on the on the crowd itself
and the neighborhood,
and the neighborhood and the town. The town itself. Kind of thing. Nashville's pretty good for the car show scene, type of thing. But so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And
well, I mean, it's not a bad story. Like, at least it wasn't like
it's not a great story, but
it could have. The thing is, I kind of say to myself, it could have ended worse. I mean, it could have been like National Lampoon's Vacation or something.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like
with grandma like laying on top of the freaking truck, and
like a cat exploding or running over something. Right. I was watching Muppets from Space today, and I realized that Gonzo actually runs over a cat with a lawnmower, and nobody really ever reacted to that. I just think that's a weird moment. Like that stuff happens all the time in this stuff, and it's no big deal. But it bugs me. So maybe I'm older and wiser. But yeah, our topic today has been favorite car shows, past and present. So that's the thing is it's not just going to be one type of show. So if you have multiple shows that you like, that's part of it. So what I want to do too is I want to bring that up, and obviously what I want to hear too is, what are the reasons that show was your favorite or became your favorite? We get your favorite, right? So, and we get some guys out there that are still had messaged me and say they're going to be on tonight. We hope you guys can show up tonight. I'm hoping Vinny can show up tonight, and my buddy Jason can show up for the end of it. You guys want in just because it started doesn't mean it's too late. Just we sent you a link. You just click on that, come right in.
Click
Reggie
on
will get you right in. So, Joel, we start with you. What's your 2 favorite shows? And if you want to go past and present, that's fine. But what do you think? What's the reasoning?
Both of my shows are in New Hampshire.
Okay.
And it's mostly because that's where I'm from. But one of them I keep saying that I'm not going to go to because I go to it every year, and I keep saying I'm not gonna, I got to do something else.
Right.
But then, like the week before, the hype of it starts happening, and it's the Manchester Rotary cruising downtown Manchester, and they shut down the entire center of town in Manchester, and it's easily 1,000 cars
Wow.
on a Saturday, and it's usually the weekend of Labor Day, and it's every type of car imaginable. I love the diversity that is there. I love the atmosphere of it, where you're parked, and you'll set up your chair like on the sidewalk or something behind your car, and everybody just walks up, and it was funny to me because I used to say nobody, nobody's going to walk up to me and look at my car, and then a friend of mine, I convinced him to bring his car, and he's like, Joel, nobody's going to come up to me and talk to me about my car, and we are both always instantly wrong, because people come up to us and talk to us about our cars,
Nice.
and it's such a great environment, and again, that's in the Manchester Rotary cruising downtown.
Nice.
And
that's still going on?
That is still going on. A matter of fact, I believe they just announced that this year is definitely on again, and it's just, like I said, it's always so good. And the other show, and we were just talking about it's a weekly show, and it's kind of the same vibe. It's at whereas the Manchester show does actually have trophies, and they do have competitions kind of thing, and they have 2 stages of music kind of thing. Whereas the Target show in Nashua, which happens every Friday night, a close second to that one is one called Murphy's, and that happens in Bedford. And these are weekly events, so they happen. The Bedford one happens every Sunday, but the Target one is every Friday in Nashua. And this show has been a staple for my family, where, my kids from birth, and my son is now 20 years old. He's been going to that show. We've brought him in strollers before I even had a car to show. And I always say my biggest comment about this particular show is that you never know what you're going to see at that show. Yes, there are the regulars. Yes, there are, the same folks who show up, whether it be a Mopar, or there's going to be there's the same 59 Cadillac Sedan DeVille that shows every week, and it's a gorgeous car. Nice. But, that being said, it seems to be like one of those club destination hotspots, where like suddenly, like the mini club from like Southern Maine will suddenly say, hey, let's go invade this show in Nashua. Right. And like all of a sudden 40 minis will show up, from vintage to modern minis. A Jeep club will show up. Multiple Corvette clubs will show up, on occasion, and now a new club that's has become a staple there, for the Corvette, Southern New Hampshire Corvette Club, which is a great group of people. And just like I said, everything shows up there. The exotics will show up there. The old campers, old Volkswagen buses, old everything. It's like, if you can name it, it's probably been there, and continues to go there, kind of thing.
So that variety has been really that drives you to keep coming back to it.
Yeah, absolutely, and probably in general, because the car community that I get along with, like, the people that I know, that are often there, that type of thing, and there isn't a bad soul that goes to that show.
Yeah, I really love any of these shows where, and the thing is, that's what's really weird about, like, the car show that they have at the Foxborough, the Patriot Place one, that's next to Bass Pro, and it's really weird because you think, okay, that's a huge show. All these people
I've been to that show.
Yeah,
and
it's a staple show. Like, everybody at least makes. I mean, it's a bi-weekly meet, so a lot of people do come to it. And the thing is it does have a fluctuation. Like, some days will be slow, some days will be fast. Usually the first one and the last one are the biggest. Or if it's gonna rain or snow the weekend afterwards,
The time that I went to that show, I mean, it blew me away just by sheer size. I mean, that is the thing about that show.
But of all the times I've gone to it, there's only been one time that I've heard of somebody who really gave attitude, and it was a guy that was not driving correctly. And I'll be honest, like, he was there's kids walking around and stuff. There's tons of people there that are really not bringing cars to come in just to see everything. So you have these kids, and this guy's, he's kind of chirping he's spinning out and kind of losing control. And so you have all these cars that are really expensive, and these kids that kind of were jumping out of the way and getting scared and stuff like that. And they went over and had to talk to him, and I guess he got really mad. They kicked him out, and they did it in a cordial way, how about you leave, and we'll see you next week. If just let it fly, and everything will be good. They handled it really well. The guy left, and then he started doing more burnouts right on the strip or whatever, and just kind of shaking the tree, if you will. And then they told him, don't ever come back, which I don't think he planned to, but it was more like that. It was definitely his fault. Let's put it like this. So you don't come back. You deserved what you got. They handled it well. They didn't close the door on him coming back. That was the only time that, I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff that's happened, but I've never seen it. It's a family friendly event.
Yeah.
You always get a good swath of cars and even the military group guys, the trucks and stuff like that show up. And that was just amazing. Like, we just have a constant display of all these different cars, all the swath of different things. You have everything from Lambo down to Honda Civics to hot rods to motorcycles. It's all there. And all these guys are really friendly. So I was like, that you can't go wrong. So look who we have today fixing his light. What's up, buddy?
How we doing, man? All of a sudden I get this message from Reggie. Reggie, how's it going, man? Primo, what's going on? Everybody, how's it going?
It's going good.
I was doing a lot of stuff for a summer send-off tomorrow, kind of getting everything rocking and rolling. And then I saw you guys go live as I was going shopping for groceries. So kind of like the norm before the firestorm. You know how it is, because tomorrow's supposed to be a crazy day, and it's gonna be fun. So I don't even know really what the topic is, kind of, sort of. I don't know.
We were talking about our favorite car shows, past and present, and why.
Yeah.
So can you do me a favor? Introduce yourself to everybody and tell everybody what you represent, and then we'll just jump right into it.
All right. So if anybody hasn't met me yet, my name is Dave. I run Nexus New England. We've been around for over 10 years now. Actually, we just celebrated our anniversary on the 4th. Being on social media, just showing everybody the car culture in New England. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing. Video, doing a lot of the video, a lot of the YouTube lately, doing tons of pictures, and just getting to know a lot of really cool people, just hanging out, having a great time.
You were saying summer send-off tomorrow? Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, tomorrow morning. Yeah, it's
wow.
There's 4 different things going on that I had no idea which one I wanted to go to.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, there's the up at the bud plant. There's a big show up there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd love to go to that. Then there's the summer send off, which is down there, and then there's 2 or 3 other ones that I'm like, going, I can't get to them all. I have to split myself up into 4 different people just to go where I have to go, and can't do it. You know, people message you and say, hey, you're gonna go to make to this show. You're gonna make it to this show. No, I can't. Sorry.
Yeah, I had no idea too. I mean, I had this plan because we have somebody put together a cookout. So it's like I'm trying to slam a car show in that I'm going to film and then go do the cookout, which I don't want to miss. And it's kind of like, where are you going? And then you're like, oh, summer send off tomorrow. And I'm like, no, like, how did I miss that? You know?
Hey,
yeah, Reggie.
Just for the record, ECS Joe will be there doing coverage tomorrow too. Karina's gonna be there. Alexandria's gonna be there. Another girl named Christina's gonna be there. So I was trying to get him, the guy that puts on summer send off, to come on here tonight, but unfortunately, I know he's getting ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, he actually he sent out a message saying we're going dark until tomorrow because we got a lot of stuff to go do. So I understand that aspect. You got to kind of get in the zone, because I went last year. I didn't know what to expect, and I walked in there and I was like, wow, this is a great show. They're already booked up. I guess it was registration only, so you can't roll in the morning, but I guess 300 cars are already registered. The place was packed last time. They need a bigger venue, but where it is at, it's just amazing. They put on a really great show. That's why I said, if I have to go to another car show tomorrow, I'll go there. I'll go.
But that was the only problem is they're full up. It's like they were all pre-registered up. And the thing is people are trying to switch up and put their stuff in. And he really gets grumpy day before. Like, he is so focused on doing the event. It's like there's a few times that I'm like, you're fine. Don't worry about me. I'll do everything weeks before, because I know he gets very grumpy day before. Like, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. I'm like, it's gonna be fine. It'll fall right into place. And at worst, you're at a parking lot. I mean, you can't do parking lots wrong. So
that's for sure. That is for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited for that. But like I said, I was clearing off SD cards and trying to get everything organized, and then I'm like running around going, I got to go do some shopping before the week starts. So It's like too much. But I love going to that's the thing. I love going to car shows. I was actually trying to go out to Milltown, the car show out there in the western part of Massachusetts. Didn't end up happening. It was just too much time to get out there. It's an hour and a half from where I am. Not that I don't like the drive, but it's just the logistics of it, trying to get everything squared away for that, and then going back to this and that. It was a mess. Anyways, so the topic on hand is
your favorite car show, past and present. And the thing I added was why. In other words, like, just why do you feel that's, I mean, and let me ask you right now, since we're on it, Joel went over a present one that he really liked. He actually had 2. Which is your favorite right now present that you really are into, and why do you like it so much?
For me right now, a present one is it like cruise nights or anything else, or is it just
you do anything that you like?
That's why I did too. I did like an annual and then a cruise night.
Yeah, anything you like.
Yeah, the one thing I don't know if it's a staple, and it's kind of cliche to say, but you go down to Bass Pro.
Yeah, we were just saying talking about that.
So there you go.
It is a phenomenal show.
It's and I always tell everybody, and it's true. It's one of those things that you go down to, and it doesn't. And last Thursday's show was really small, but they had stuff there that people just picked up. They they bought and they brought there, and it was a beautiful Chevy, 59 Chevy Biscayne. You sit there, and your mouth drops. It's like, my goodness, that thing is it's just a beautiful car. He goes, I just brought it up there 2 days ago from the south. I'm like, wow. That is cool. So first time seeing that in the New England area. It's just a lot of different cars, and you have no idea what's going to roll in there. Anything from little micro cars all the way up to supercars, hypercars. So that's a great event, and that's why I always press everybody. Mass Cruisers do a great job at organizing an event that large. Yeah. I always say it's probably one of the largest, if not the largest, car events that's ongoing throughout the season. It has to be. You get 25 to 3,000 cars a couple of times throughout the year. I don't know what else rivals that for as far as an ongoing, like a one-time event. Right. There's
one thing that we keep hearing from everybody is, first, obviously the variation of vehicles. So the swath of vehicles that I was saying. So the amount of different variation that you have and how much area we cover. One thing that I think that I don't see at many other shows is that military representation that they have there, that just, you don't see those guys anywhere but that show, and they're regulars. They're always there. And the other thing that I kept saying is the amount of friendly people. In other words, like Joel and I were both saying, everybody that shows that we're our favorites are ones that we go to, and you never hear any problems. I said there was one time that I heard a problem at Bass Pro, and it just on general, you're always going to go there and you're going to have a fun event. So, but yeah, Mark Roberts said mini nationals, but back when it was in Pigeon Forge, new mini nats is good, but limited space. And then Silver City Soapworks, I tend to enjoy charity shows. I enjoy the 8/29/21 show at Detail Garage that we did, and the one that was on the 22 rally at Foxwoods, and the energy was amazing at those shows. And that's the thing is that's one thing that we really haven't addressed is the charity concept. You can't go wrong with. You can go to a show that really everything goes wrong, and if it's a charity show, like nobody cares. It's all about the charity, especially the more money that goes into the charities. A lot of people, there's a couple of groups right now that I still hear that, I mean, somebody puts in $1,000 into a show, and then maybe $100 of it goes into charity. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of junk, but like, for instance, for, 22 rally, and I don't even know if I know one side of it announced that I think Mission 22 announced that they gave $11,000+ to charity for Mission 22, and then they gave another $11,000 to Veterans Incorporated. So they split the charity money right down the middle, and that's for a show that cost probably, I think it was $500 to go to. I mean, that's incredible. Like, you cannot go wrong if you're like, how did you double up the money like that? Like you triple. But it's the thing is people go in and they give and give and give because they know every dollar that they're spending isn't going to something crazy. It's going straight to whatever that charity is. And you actually meet the people. You know what I mean? And Silver City Soapworks, Lily mentioned that she liked the New Hampshire show that had the games, the cookouts, and the car simulation. Lots of fun and friendly people. I don't know which one that was. So, but yeah. That's the thing is too. Now for me, the show that has always, and I know people are going to be like, that's weird for me to say it, and they're probably not going to expect it, but, mine has always been Hot Import Nights. It was the thing that like, there was, what was the one that they used to do up on the waterfront, and it used to be in Bayside? You know what I'm talking? Not Wheels. Was it Wheels? It wasn't Wheels of Time. It's a big show. World of Wheels. Yeah, World of Wheels. World of Wheels was one that we always went to. Is always like a traditional show, but it always seemed to kind of be a one-trick pony for me. Like it just had, like, you got to see the drag cars, and you got to see some of the other stuff. But the thing that I got with when I went to that same year was kind of the first year that I started working for places and doing things with them, and it was Hot Import Nights had messaged me and said, do you want to cover the event, and we'll have you do the stuff for our chat, which became HA Hot Import Night City, which I was the head blogger for that channel. And that was the weirdest thing. Like, it was like, I'm doing the video for it. And then I realized that like, there are cars here that you're never, ever going to see again. Like cars that had followed the event. It was not just in one area. It had guys from Hawaii. It had guys from Las Vegas. It had guys from Los Angeles, San Francisco, Detroit, Chicago, and all these cars in there mixed in with all the people that had that were in our area that were considered the top. Like every time you got a car, cars are vetted. So like today they're like, well, pay a little extra for VIP. No, if you're gonna do a show right, every car should be VIP, and then you have your parking area for all the cars that just want to show. Well, that was the thing is Hot Import Nights was all just. Every car was VIP. It was top. And yes, it does lean more back then. It leaned more towards the tuner scene, but that was also the tuner scene wasn't big back then. And the more they went along and the more we started doing stuff with them, the more we started seeing stuff like the hot rods and some of the muscle cars showing up. And then we started seeing exotics and some crazy stuff that was like, the wide body cars came out, like the Bunny Kit and Liberty Walk, Murcielagos and junk like that started coming out. and you had a lot of variation there. And the place has a stage, it has bands, it has entertainment. You could win stuff. They had one where I think it was UTI came out, and you could have reaction times on a tree that you press the button, and another one where it was how fast can you change the spark plugs, and you would win stuff. So, and that's the thing is and I mean, Summer Send Off really does one of those cap off shows. Like, it is it's a very good show, and I would always recommend people to go to it. But the amount of stuff that happened at HIN, if you didn't like a single car there, you still had a good time. And they like manufacturers unveiling whatever product or whatever car that the last one we went to, they did that. And it is a completely different show now. And I think people look at it a lot differently than they did when it was first around and I was first getting to it over, because we did the Chicago one, we did the Boston one. We had different ones that we did, and we had people that were there. I mean, that was the beauty of having somebody that was photographing stuff, and you would go there and your stuff would get featured, and it was good to see. So yeah, I'm a little bit biased about it, but the history that went into HIN that really fueled movies like Fast and Furious, fueled a car scene that was, some people would have considered kind of dead, like it was still kind of underground, and suddenly it was mainstream again. And then Fast and Furious hit, Gone in 60 Seconds was around. All these different things happened at the same time, and suddenly everything that we were doing was relevant. Like, everybody wanted a piece of it, and that's kind of why the legend of it is so important to me. And I've always wanted to have something that had that same kind of effort from the like the hot rod world, the muscle world, the lowrider world, all that stuff. And like I said, nothing has really contended with HIN other than Javier's show, Import Evolution.
Yeah. I was just about to talk about them too. Yeah. That's what's going on with that. Yeah, they follow that same principle, that same pattern.
But that's the thing is I think Import Evolution has a good chance of continuing to grow and starting to. And we have nobody's muscling in on anybody's stuff. You know what I mean? But the idea of being able to have something where it's not just one show that we go to, it's a show that we didn't go to. And the other one that I really didn't do a lot, and I didn't get to go to a lot, which I actually just messaged some people that were involved in originally, was the Worcester Nationals in Worcester. And that was like, they had people did burnouts down strip. And ever since I've gotten into cars and done stuff and seen stuff like that, where it wasn't like, it was kind of frowned upon. And there was times when people did it and everybody did it. And we just like, look, that's life. People do burnouts, accept it. And, you'd have from time to time, a cop would show up. This is way back. We're talking 90s when this stuff happened. But you'd have the cop show up and be like, hey, guys, knock that off, whatever. But you got slaps on the wrist. Now, today, it's like arrest. It's a totally different monster. But with Worcester Nationals, they kind of kept it. People don't realize what the spirit of the 80s and 90s were like. And it really did culminate in the Worcester Nationals. It was still that same pure feel and I didn't get to go to it enough. And then finally it was gone. And I know they've always talked about bringing it back, but now it's kind of like if you tried to make Blazing Saddles today, you can't. The movie will never be made again. I really feel that Worcester Nationals falls into that category of it's not that nobody wants the show. It's that too many people would want the show. And what would be the results of us all showing up and going, okay, we got our old cars. We're going to show them off and do some burnouts down the strips. And that would no longer be something that would be, it would be.
Interestingly, though, there's a show that's actually happening. Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. It's the exotic car show at the Acura dealership in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Oh, Sunnyside. I love Sunnyside. They're so awesome.
So the last couple of times that I have left that show, there has usually been a Nashua police officer directing traffic for the exit. And for whatever reason, he actually has usually shouted out, "Rip it up." And people will leave that show doing a burnout coming out of there. And I mean, knocking on the simulated hardwood, nobody has done done anything like horrid or any kind of like out of control kind of thing. kind of thing. But it's usually been like a good. It becomes the show as everybody is leaving, and it is either the show of somebody does a burnout, or you hear that Lamborghini or that that V12 warble as it takes off, kind of thing. And so
the other thing I love about those guys up there, and big shout out to Mr. Niven up there. They are just, you cannot find nicer people in the car community. And I literally would challenge somebody to try to find somebody nicer. They deserve all our support, because you do not realize the effort that these guys put in, and they don't have to.
Right.
That's the beauty.
And that is on August 21st this year. For anybody who's interested in that show. So it's usually a spectacular show. It's another kind of show that almost needs kind of a bigger venue, because it is done in the dealership parking lot kind of thing. But it's still a quality show. I
thought it was funny that when we did our one show for charity up there, and I think we ended up raising like $2,000 for charity. And we did the show, and they were working next door. So they had this nice parking lot. It was on the other side of the building, not the one that's kind of like that open area that's like, right? So that other area, they're working in it, and people went over. It's an open lot. Some little overflow parking isn't going to hurt anybody, right?
So I think right now that parking lot right now is I think it's a U-Haul place. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they work out some kind of deal with them.
Yeah, exactly.
To like have like either spectator parking over there. And making sure that there's enough parking for both the spectators and the.
I've noticed that when we do the filming and stuff, the U-Haul guys, the U-Haul owners at least, are super friendly about us letting us use their. I mean, if we're not doing burnouts, if we're just filming the driving of like sitting stuff, the U-Haul owners were all very kind and like some of the best. Oh, you have a problem, and we obviously have used their U-Hauls in the past for bringing equipment up and stuff like that. So they're like, you spent money with us, where would you like to go? And just such an understanding group. Like it's so hard to find a lot of groups out there right now that are, and I don't want to say it in a bad way, in other words, there are people that are friendly. That's the thing is customer service is tough to come by in this day and age, if you will. So it's really weird that.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Anybody who works in customer service or is even involved in customer service knows how hard it is to maintain a friendly attitude while working in customer service. with today's customer. People just generally are not. People. My favorite T-shirt, and I do wear it occasionally, is I used to be a people person, but people change that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So
work in the car business for any length of time in any of the car businesses, and your ability to have patience will disappear. Red, do you have anything?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I've been typing it because I didn't have a chance to figure out. No, one of my favorite car shows of all times was Freak Show in Kinston, North Carolina for 13 years. That's one of the first dates I took my wife at was she could tell you it was one of the wildest car shows. It's long gone now. It went on for 13 years. I literally went to every single one of them, I think, but one. And it was like a Mardi Gras on wheels. I mean, the girls were pretty much topless. Bands, concerts going on throughout it, camping throughout the whole weekend. All types of vehicles came from all over the country, and it just came to a stop after 13 years, and I miss it. I really do. And they know who they are. They used to own Drop Draw magazine. I mean, they used to hold. I mean, that show was growing every year. It was getting so big. And one of my favorites still today. Unfortunately, I personally haven't been there, but my photographers have, and it's definitely Mini Trucking Nationals. Yeah, somebody just said Freak Show. Yep.
Yeah. They say Freak Show by Drop Jaw was crazy. Took focus back in 2016. The show was Mark Robert.
Yep. Now, see, you start talking about Freak Show down south in Kinston, North Carolina, everybody comes out and starts talking about Freak Show. That was happening. That was the party car show. You could bring your kids to the show field, but you couldn't bring them to the campground. It was
Yeah, that was my problem. Is I never we did the shows. I was too young when we did the stuff in Virginia to really enjoy the stuff in Virginia, and I really would have liked to have gone back to do more of the stuff that we wanted to. We got down to do a little bit of stuff, and then I kind of kept connected with kind of the southern group. But like you didn't go down, you had to pick and choose. So it was kind of like the biggest group. We didn't have good hangout, you know what I mean? And that's the thing is I'm sorry that I didn't get to miss any of that. Jamie Kelly, summer send off car show still going strong tomorrow in Rockland, Mass. Jamie, we David was kind enough to bring that up a couple seconds ago or a couple minutes ago and say that is a big show that I had no idea that was going on tomorrow, and I don't know how I missed it. But anyway,
it's a shame that you didn't check out a website that lists car shows.
I already have stuff on my schedule, but yes, in case anybody wants to know, NewEnglandAutoShows.com and ECSMagazine.com has a lot of stuff, the resources. So if you guys want to see it, but Mark Roberts says Slam Session in Greenfield, North Carolina was another fun one. So yeah, like I said, more North Carolina stuff. And I remember as a kid, like I said, that we did a big shout out to Import Evolution. I think Javier might have just seen he got the big old things up there. Good to see you, buddy. But yeah, so like I said, I loved everything I did down there. It was a totally different environment, but it was also a really different time for me. And I think that at some point I need to go down and really experience some of that stuff again to see what the difference is now versus then. And do they have a lot of big stuff that goes on down there now?
Yeah, they still have the Southeast Trucking Nationals in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. Okay. They still have Slam Fest down in Florida. I mean, they still have some of the major shows. They still got the Biloxi, Mississippi show. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. Yep. I mean, there's the East Tennessee Showdown in Tennessee. I mean, there's still a lot of major shows out there. And again, this is why we want to bring this podcast to Wednesday nights, because a lot of these guys that have these major shows, we want to talk to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the thing is really one of the things that we like about our setup now and the way we have it is, and this is the thing is, if you run a show out there, we want you to use this platform to promote a show, to show off your show, or to get the word out there. Sometimes you don't go to the website that you should go to, or you don't go to these. We get busy. I know. See, I completely forgot about summer send off. It happens. You know what I mean? So you get busy about stuff, but you still want to know when stuff goes on and what it is, and use these platforms to promote your show and give people options about where to go and to be able to consider you. And we want more people to come in here and, use the platform. That's what it's here for. So like I said, if you're out there thinking about coming on the show, don't think about it. Shoot Reggie an email, shoot him a message, however you want to get in touch with him. He's going to be there 24/7. And we'd love to have you on Wednesday night. 3:37 a.m. says, I show you how old I am. When I was 18, I went to the first mini Nats. When was that, Reggie?
That's a long time ago. I think it's like 27 years or something, like 20-something years. Mini Trucking National, something like that. Yeah. I could be wrong, but I know it's old.
It's hard for me to believe I went to my first car show in the late 1970s. Like, it was so bad. I didn't I remember going, I remember enjoying the cars. I remember putting the car in the truck. I remember all that stuff. I couldn't tell you right now what was there. I remember there was the red 57 Chevy. There was obviously a bunch of Trans Ams because I was into Trans Ams at the time. But yeah, that was, and then obviously Smokey and the Bandit is going to fuel a little bit of that down the road too. So the kind of, looking back, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, I remember that. But yeah, it's all just kind of a blur. And then the 80s, I mean, I don't care what anybody says, 80s was really a weird time for cars. We just didn't have good cars in the 80s. And I mean, I had an 82 Trans Am, and I think I had like 220 horsepower. And I remember just thinking, like, there's got to be more to this than, you know what I mean? It was the street cars were totally different than the race cars. And yeah, it's just weird. But anyway, Mark Robert, I believe this. Yeah, Mark Robert says, I believe this year is 27th. I went back in 2000 and 2001. Wow. Okay,
I was right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When was everybody's first car show? When was the first one you went to? I'll start with you, David. Go ahead.
Summer.
First car show.
Yeah, first car show you went to. Think about it.
I started off with cruise nights.
Yeah.
I was always the one that went to Riley's in Framingham, Riley's roast beef.
Yes.
In Framingham. When I got my, I had a 78 piece of crap Camaro that I would go there, and I didn't show it off, but I just went there because now I had the car and I wanted to be, in the scene and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where everybody went to back in the day. And then when I bought a 94 Z28 and I pulled up with a couple of years old Camaro, and guy said, "No, man, you can't come in." Well, why not? Well, it's 25 years and older for cars. So with the car that I'm proud to show off now, they can't. At the time they're like, it's 25 years and older. So that was back. You had to have a 70s car or older.
Mm-hmm.
So Riley's was the show that I loved going to. I still miss it. Yeah. We all talk about it all the time. That was one of those signature shows, cruise nights that everybody goes, "Remember Riley's roast beef? That place was the best." And it's historic basically. And as you were saying before about as car shows and cruise nights and everything, what we remember, you can't get that back anymore because that was like the heyday of whatever that event was. I'd love to have a Riley's come back, but it's not going to be the same, unfortunately. But we can, that's why we always endeavor to try and get something that's similar. That like you were saying with Hot Import Nights, what Import Evolution's doing right now. To me, that's what I feel that same vibe with Import Evolution. That show, I walked in there and I was like, all right, I feel that vibe again, that energy again. That's why I give hats off to them putting that show on, because that made me feel like I was like, all right, these guys got something going on. It's a great show. But yeah, Riley's is probably the first show the first cruise night that I went to. I always will love it. I wish somebody would get something going again. They're trying to get something to go again at the place where it was, CJ's, local car clubs, trying to get something going. But again, sometimes it's kind of funny that they don't pick up. There's a lot of people putting flyers out and everything, and it's crickets.
We have difficulty getting kind of organized again, and that's why I always liked when Joel came up to me the first time and he goes, we're gonna list all the car shows in one spot. And I was so excited when he told me that, because there was a lot of things that it just kind of seemed like a lot of the places that were listing car shows kind of were biased on what shows they listed. Do you know what I mean? And when his thing came out, it had everything. And that's the thing is he's still doing that today. And I just think it's limited to Northeast. But yeah, you just can't. I mean, I want more and more people to submit stuff and say, be on the list. Here's the stuff, and be able to do something that's you put your little blip on the map and go, I want to drive 15 miles, or I want to drive 30 miles, or whatever. And then you have something to say, this is what's going on this weekend, and just here's your calendar, fill it out. But that thing is I still have the old battle of saying, we should already have our year kind of planned coming in December. Like, you get out of December, half my stuff is already filled out. Like, I know when Import Evolutions is going to be. I know when, the majority of my events are going to be, and they're already on my calendar. And then somebody says, well, I want to do this. And I got it for this weekend. And it really helps, especially when I'm helping other people. I can help a ton of people put together events. And it's like, okay, when is stuff going on? And I see them playing stuff, and I'm like, you guys are running over each other's feet when you could be supporting each other.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is it's like you were saying, it really comes down to I guess the best way it is it's a popularity contest about who's going to make the most noise. And I just think there's a better way. And I also think that there's a way to get more people to come out. But I think the biggest ways of doing that is getting the idea that there is a negative connotation to this.
So one of the things that I try to do with the website is that I do have what's called a master list, and it basically has all of the weekday ones listed at the top of the list, and then for the annuals it has usually what I tend to do in the end of December is what I do, the master list reset. So what I do is I take the previous year and I mark them all red, because now I don't officially know 100% what their future date is, for that year is yet, but I know roughly when they did it the year before. So it has what shows happened in, all the way from, January, February, March, April, May. I have like, that's when they occurred the last time, kind of thing. And what I've always kind of wanted to happen is, whether it be a new car show or even an existing car show, where they can go to my website and they can go, okay, well, we didn't have that great of a turnout. Why didn't we have that great of a turnout? And then they can go, oh, well, look at all of these car shows that we were competing against.
Right.
Maybe we should move it like either a week earlier or a month earlier or whatever, because, not much is happening in June. A lot is happening in July. A lot is happening in August, kind of thing.
But wouldn't you say that a lot of the events now, and that's the thing, somebody's asked me, well, why does an event fail? And it really is marketing. Like, it's either that people
it's
don't.
It's totally marketing. It absolutely 100% is marketing.
Right.
And it's so funny how they will not embrace and or utilize any kind of free marketing.
Right.
They will go out of their way to spend money on marketing that doesn't work.
Right.
And or just doesn't have the reach that some of those marketers claim that they have.
Right.
Kind of thing. And I'm not going to say that, I have like 100% penetration of market by any means. I don't,
right.
Kind of thing. But that being said, I am a free marketing device. Like, I do not charge to list any car show, on my website. I think what we'd like to do down the road, and I think maybe that's something me and you, Joel, should get together and try to do, is send out some sort of questionnaire, not just to people in the car community, but like a general questionnaire, like to do a survey or a report or something, to kind of talk to the population and say, when's the last time you saw a car show? Would you go to a car show? If somebody says they wouldn't go to a car show, then they're a no. But to get an idea of what the population, I think that you go to these things, especially Bass Pro, and you'll go to these things and there's a dad there with his kid. He's walking through the thing. He doesn't own a car. He's never been to any. This is the only car show he's going to. The reason he knows is because it is just extreme word of mouth, and it's just on Facebook, and there is some sponsorship associated with it, but there's a lot of, is it Bob Kraft, like the Kraft thing that, what I mean? Like Patriots kind of wording is behind it. So it has a lot of push to it. And I think this guy's coming out, he's going to his car show and he's showing his kid and he's getting excited about stuff. His kid's getting excited about stuff. And that's the thing is I said, these guys are not going to go to 99% of any other car shows just because he doesn't know, or he doesn't accept they don't
it,
know.
or
they don't
scared
know
of it, or like how many times you not gone to a show because you're like, I don't know what the show's going to be like or who's going to be there. If you have a group of dudes that are your friends that are car drivers, I know I have a group of friends.
Well,
right now,
I mean, isn't it ironic though that's how Facebook has helped some of these events, because they can at least post pictures of previous events in a cheap and expensive way. If they do a website, for their event, then they can post previous shows so that you can get a little bit of an expectation kind of thing.
But think about how many of those groups that the main guy comes up and goes, "Hey guys, we're going to Bass Pro this week," and all that whole group, and they would not have gone to that thing if that one guy hadn't gone.
When I first started the website, I mean, how many times that what I started to do when I first started it is I took and printed out like some 4x6 cards to say, here's where the website is, this is what it is, this is what we're trying to do, kind of thing. And I was at of all car shows, which was the Budweiser Camaro Club one, which is actually occurring tomorrow. And I was handing these out, and what I used to do is like, if somebody handed me a flyer at a car show, I would say, the rule is if you hand me a flyer, you have to take one of mine. Right. Kind of thing. So I forget which club it was, but, I said, he handed me a flyer for their car show that was occurring like in a couple of weeks. And I said, I actually know about this car show. It's actually listed on my website. And I said, but you're handing out flyers for about 2 or 3 other shows that I didn't know about. Go to my website and let me know about them. And he goes, well, we have flyers. And I said, but you can go to my website and let me know, and I it's free. You know, we'll get the word out about your car show. And he goes, well, we use flyers. We don't do web. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm a medium that you can use to get, you know, further penetration, you know, kind of thing. And he literally looked at me as if I was insulting him, and I'm like,
right.
Dude, I'm trying to help you out here, you know, kind of thing.
They don't, they don't want help. So I want to give this the thing is we're going into the hour mark, so we don't want to go too much over, but I do want to give Dave and Reggie an opportunity to kind of give some input because we've kind of dominated here. What do you guys? Anybody want to take a round here or?
Around, we're gonna go down swinging.
Rich, yeah, right. Well, I mean, we've gone over a lot of stuff, so
I'll go. As far, I mean, there's a lot of topics you could just touch and base on as far as the word of mouth and everything. Like everybody says, social media is a big platform that everybody wants to use, and they should use if it's somebody like what Joel has. It's. I always go on there, check on what's what. My big thing is I always decide on a Thursday. Wednesday I start thinking, then Thursday I go, all right, I'm going to go here. Then Friday I make my plans, and then Saturday is the weekend. Right. And it's usually something within, like you were saying, Primo, like a 15-mile, 20-mile radius. I'll go to it. Summer send off is a little bit farther.
He knows where we're going.
Yeah, but where I go, it's like but where I'm at is like summer send off. It was a great show last year. Because of what they're doing on social media, because I went last year, I'm going there again. I could have went up to Budweiser show, which awesome. That is right. I've been up there too. Awesome show. But I was like, what's closer? Had a great time last time. We're gonna go there. So that it's one of those things. I love doing that type of stuff. With summer send off, different vibe, different community. And maybe next year, if it's on the same date, I'd probably pick the Budweiser show next year. It's all variety. It's all whatever you feel like doing. And if it's social marketing or if it's flyers or whatever, you got to go out there and just promote the show. Like you said, it's all about getting the word out there. And you see a lot of car clubs just not embracing that thing. You see them stuck in their ways, which flyers do a big thing. They do they do the job. But if somebody like Joel's offering it to you, take it, run with it.
Right.
Here. Put it on your page, please, and let them know that we're doing this every whatever night it is, and this coming up in 2 weeks, please, because the more the merrier, especially if it's something that's for a charity, which I love going to. So that's about it, guys. As far as wrapping up for what I'm doing, Nexus New England will be up at down at Summer Send Off tomorrow. So look for me there. I'll probably be wearing nice white shirt and probably my white bandana because it's going to be a hot one. So
and don't forget to film and let us know when you put the video up so we can take a look at it for those that can't make it to it.
That I do. Yeah, we are on YouTube at Nexus New England, and we're on Facebook and Instagram, Nexus New England.
That's NEXXUS New England? Perfect.
Yes, Nexus New England. Yes, it is.
Perfect. All right. So, and don't forget, guys, remember NewEnglandAutoShows.com is Joel's place. So, Reggie, do you have anything else to put in here?
Yes, I do.
That funny.
Oh, I forgot.
Yes. Oh, you forgot. Oh, I love
Before we go, you did one of the things that you were asking about is like what was our first car show?
Yeah,
and I actually happen to have, and I've shown this picture before, but this is yours truly at his very first car show.
Yeah.
In 1976.
There you go. See,
and. So I figured I would
notice he got in the car and they immediately wanted to sell it.
Yeah. And please don't touch.
Please don't touch.
Right? So
many comments there. I'm not saying any of them.
Right, exactly. You can go to so many different places.
They're all fun though.
Right.
Hunter Layton says, "Good evening, y'all. Know I'm a bit late. That's okay, Hunter. Remember that this stuff goes up after we're done, and you can view it anytime you want and go back to it. And remember that we're always looking at the comments. We always want to hear your input, especially on input as we move to Wednesday night. If you have input on how that's going to look for you, if that's a better time for you." Continue to give us input. We're listening to the stuff that you guys have to say, and we find that information super important because we want to make sure that this is a resource that you can use to get in touch with. Not like a lot of times you'll go to car shows, you've never met the guy that ran the car show. Like, I mean, how many people here actually know like John from the Patriot Place show? Like nobody, a few people have met him outside. It's like, yeah, and he's great guy. He supports a lot of causes out there. So he is a really good dude. And the thing is I want to set up more for, some of these North Carolina guys, some of these Virginia people, South Carolina, Florida, even the West Coast. If you got a good show out there, you'd be amazed at how many guys will drive down from Canada and that watch to come see a show. It's just amazing to see the stuff that we've run into in the short time that we've been out. Hunter says, my favorite show is Mini Nats and Maggie mini camp out a couple of years back in Bennettsville, South Carolina. So see, we got these South Carolina guys in. So yeah, it's the thing is it's not just one spot. You can get it in every spot. So yeah, that's gonna be, I think, our show for tonight. So thank you guys for hanging out at the ECS Hangout. Remember, this is sponsored by Control Freak, controlfreakcompany.com. So hang out over there and check out some of the cool things that they have. Again, this is a car talk show. We talk about all the different car topics, from car shows to racing, to drifting, to any aftermarket, anything that you have involved in. We want to hear it. And you can view us on IG, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all social media. And don't forget ECSmagazine.com. Remember, hit the thumbs up, make some comments out there. Anytime you share this video, it definitely helps us so we can get more of the word out for you. And tonight, I want to thank everybody that's been here. Remember, as your moderator, Primo, Reggie over here, the owner of ECS, Joel Chappell of NewEnglandAutoshows.com, and Dave Morgan of Nexus New England. We will see you next week at our new time, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm expecting all you people that missed out today to show up then. So we'll talk to you then. And otherwise, everybody have a good night.
Good night.